From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robian Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, face-to-face classes are set to resume at St. James High School after they were disrupted today.
Water is back all over the compound now, and we'll be back tomorrow. We want face-to-face because some of our students still don't have connectivity and stuff.
And the Education Minister has asked the security forces to investigate and prosecute those involved in the disruption of classes at the school.
The NWC is again refuting what it says are false claims by the PNP regarding water safety in the corporate area.
Murders are down 34% since the start of the year.
Leon Golding is the new diocesan bishop of the Anglican Church in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands.
In news from the rest of the world, U.S. deportations to Venezuela resume after dispute.
Donald Trump says he knew nothing about his defense officials texting war plans to a journalist.
In headline sports, Cricket West Indies to review policy following allegations of sexual harassment in the women's cricket team.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, there's been another disruption of classes at St. James High School. This time, staff and students arrived to padlocked gates. Executive Director of the National Council on Education, the NCE, Maris Murray, will join us.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask, on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate Dr. Kevin Blake's first year as Commissioner of Police? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the NWC is again refuting what it says are false claims by the PNP of contaminated water in Kingston and St. Andrew. Acting Corporate Public Relations Manager at the Commission, Delano Williams, will join us.
At 7, Trump's national security advisor added a journalist to text chat on highly sensitive war plans. Senior fellow at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government, Professor Richard Kennedy, will join us.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile. Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app. Available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Monday afternoon, it's Monday, March 24, 2025.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. Face-to-face classes are set to resume at St. James High on Tuesday, following two separate incidents that disrupted normal operations today. In the first incident, students and staff arrived at the institution to find the gates padlocked. But once the locks were removed, it was found there was no water on the compound. More in this report from Shalois Michael.
St. James High has been bedeviled by a long-standing dispute between the chairman of the board, Christopher McCurdy, and Principal Joseph Williams. The two have been at loggerheads over the composition of the board and the management of the institution. Classes were suspended just last month after both men engaged in a verbal altercation during a staff meeting at the school. The minister has since intervened, advising that the school board should continue with its current composition pending formal mediation. But the matter has escalated. On Monday, students and staff were left stranded outside after they found the gates chained with a padlock. It's not immediately clear who padlocked the gates. However, it's understood Principal Williams ordered the padlock cut to gain access. But upon entering the compound, students were sent home and told to continue classes online as there was no water at the school. Principal Williams says face-to-face classes will resume on Tuesday.
Water is back. We'll find out what happened with the water. Water is all over the compound now, and we'll be back tomorrow. We want face-to-face because some of our students still don't have connectivity and stuff. We want face-to-face tomorrow.
Mr. McCurdy told our news center that he will be demanding a report from Mr. Williams as to why the gates were locked.
I'm going to write and ask the principal to provide a report to the board to see who would be responsible for padlocking the main gate and the classrooms on a Monday morning when we're expecting our students to go to classes. These sort of setbacks hurting our students, and we have to do what we need to do to make sure that the interest of the students is protected.
But Principal Williams says based on his reports, the gates were padlocked because of disagreements over the continuation of the current board members.
The padlock obviously relates to the fact that, as was outlined in a meeting about a month ago, that they would have a change of board members, and then I know a letter came on Friday to say that no, there won't be any changes. I see it's a reaction to that.
Shaloy Smichael for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Education has enlisted security forces to investigate and prosecute those involved in the disruption of classes at St. James High on Monday. In a release to the media, the ministry says a team from its Region 4 office was dispatched to the institution to assess the issue. Permanent Secretary in the Education Ministry, Dr. Kassan Troop, has also condemned the padlocking of the gates as a cowardly and misguided move. She says the ministry, through the National Council on Education and the regional office, will advance work to address the governance issues at St. James High to restore stability. Dr. Troop says further updates will be provided as the situation develops.
The National Water Commission, the NWC, is again rejecting claims by the opposition People's National Party, the PNP, that water provided by the Commission is contaminated. The opposition's spokesman on water, Ian Hales, and its junior spokesman on health, Jesse James Clark, have alleged that the purported contamination raises health concerns. But the NWC has strongly rejected the claims, describing them as false and misleading. The NWC says water supplied by the Commission remains safe for consumption. The Commission noted that its operations adhere strictly to the guidelines set by the Ministry of Health and the World Health Organization. It says it abides by the highest standards of water quality and safety. The NWC says it remains dedicated to transparency and will continue to deliver potable water that meets all regulatory and safety standards. The Commission is urging members of the public to rely on the accurate and verified information that it disseminates.
Meanwhile, the Jamaica Labour Party says the PNP claims that water provided by the NWC is contaminated are false, irresponsible, and reckless. JLP spokesman Senator Marlon Morgan says the claims are another indication of the opposition's inappropriate desperation for political power. According to Senator Morgan, it's unfortunate that the PNP repeated the false allegation despite the NWC statement on the integrity and safety of the water. Senator Morgan says the statements from both Hales and Clark further confirm that the PNP is willing to attempt to sow panic among the nation in order to secure a perverse political advantage.
On crime now, the country's murder rate continues to decline, with the latest police statistics showing a 34% drop in homicides since the start of the year. Mahiri Stewart has been tracking the data.
The latest numbers from the JCF show that up to March 22 this year, 167 homicides had been committed in the country. That's 88 fewer than the 255 Jamaicans killed over the corresponding period last year. St. Andrew South continues to be a problem spot, leading the country's murder tally with 25 Jamaicans killed since January 1. St. Catharines South is second with 18 murders. 4 divisions across the island have seen an increase in homicides. They are St. Mary, Portland, St. Andrew South, and St. Andrew North. Meanwhile, shootings have declined by 24%, coming in at 177 up to March 22. Rape is down by 61%, while robberies declined by 15%. But the JCF says break-ins have increased by 25%. During his contribution to the budget debate last Thursday, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness highlighted the significant reduction in murders and other serious crimes.
Jamaica is now safer than at any point in the last 20 years. On our current trajectory, Jamaica is on track to record fewer than 1,000 murders in a single year for the first time since 2003. We are confident that this downward trajectory will persist as these results stem from our deliberate planning, strategic investments, and targeted efforts to dismantle organized criminal gangs.
He attributed the downward trend to his administration's significant investment in the security forces. He says law enforcement agencies have significantly stepped up their efforts to reduce the number of gangs operating in the country. According to the Prime Minister, up to 2019, the national security capital expenditure had surged to $16 billion.
We are confident that this downward trajectory will persist as these results stem from our deliberate planning, strategic investments, and targeted efforts to dismantle organized criminal gangs. In 2015, before my administration took office, capital expenditure for national security was $2.67 billion. By 2018, we increased the spending on security to $12.7 billion. And in 2019, we made a record $19.5 billion investment to modernize our security apparatus.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
The St. Andrews South Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the fatal shooting incident in the vicinity of Malines Road and Washington Boulevard in St. Andrew on Monday. The deceased is 29-year-old Wycliffe Riley, otherwise known as Shane, of Roswell Avenue, Washington Boulevard in Kingston. Riley is said to be aligned to the Top Marvelly gang. Khaleesi Wright reports.
Reports are that Wycliffe Riley was driving a grey Toyota Probox, and upon reaching the intersection of Malines Road and Washington Boulevard, criminals traveling on a motorcycle opened gunfire on the car, hitting him in the upper body. He was taken to the Kingston Public Hospital where he was pronounced dead. It is understood that Riley was the primary target. Preliminary investigations are indicating that the incident was orchestrated by the Lower Marvelly gang. Nationwide News understands that there has been an ongoing feud between the Top and Lower Marvelly gang following a shooting incident on February 23, where Orlando David, otherwise known as Stucky, was shot and killed. 5 others were also shot and injured. This attack was orchestrated by the Top Marvelly gang. Riley is said to be a close associate of a member of the Top Marvelly gang who was being blamed for the February 23 attack. In addition to this, a check revealed that he was in custody in September 2024 for possession of a prohibited weapon. The police said the area in which the incident occurred is not an area of concern. However, they have noted that the gang feud within the Marvelly community is likely to play out in adjoining and nearby communities. The police is asking persons to come forward if they have any information relating to the incident. Meanwhile, another man was shot and injured during the incident. He was taken to hospital for treatment. Additionally, at least 3 vehicles were damaged. Khaleesi Wright for Nationwide News.
Leon Golding has been chosen as the new diocesan bishop of the Anglican Church in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. He previously served as the suffragan bishop of Montego Bay. Golding was elected on Monday during an assembly at the St. Luke's Church in Crossroads. He now assumes leadership of over 200 congregations within the diocese, overseeing its direction and administration. Golding succeeds Howard Gregory as diocesan bishop, becoming the 15th person to hold the position in the church's 200-year history. As the sole nominee, he was the leading candidate ahead of the election, which, under church canons, allows for up to 12 rounds of voting. Before stepping into this role, Golding held various leadership positions within the church. He served as a deacon at St. Andrew Parish Church from 1984 to 1988, later becoming rector in several parishes. His assignments include Port Maria in St. Mary from 1988 to 1990, Stony Hill in St. Andrew from 1990 to 2000, the Kingston Parish Church from 2002 to 2008, and St. James at the Church of the Holy Trinity from Westgate, or rather that should be in Westgate, Montego Bay, from 2008 to 2024. Golding earned a Bachelor of Arts in Theology and a Diploma in Ministerial Studies from the United Theological College of the West Indies. He also holds a Master of Philosophy from the University of Birmingham in England, which he obtained in 1966. You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay.
Are you ready to debate, dominate, and drive change? The public sector debate competition is back, bigger, bolder, and better than ever. Public sector employees, this is your chance to showcase your skills, sharpen your arguments, and tackle the nation's biggest issues head on. Don't wait. Registration closes March 28, 2025. Sign up now at publicsectortransformation.gov.jm. Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit, building a better public sector for all.
Continuing the news, opposition spokesperson on energy Philip Paulwell says the JLP have done a poor job of easing the cost of electricity on Jamaicans. Speaking at a PNP meeting in West St. Thomas on Sunday, Mr. Paulwell says under the last PNP administration, the cost of electricity was significantly lower.
One of the big issues that we dealt with was the problem of cost of living. The fact that many of you, despite this notion about prosperity, you are far worse off today than you were when we came out of power in 2016. And one of the reasons for that is energy, the high cost of electricity. When we left office in 2016, the price of electricity was between 23 and 26 US cents per kilowatt hour. Today, under the JLP government, the price of electricity has gone up to over 40 US cents per kilowatt hour. And they are talking about prosperity. People are suffering.
Mr. Paulwell says under PNP government, renewable energy will be used to power the homes of low-income earners.
We believe that electricity in this day and age is a right. And we are going to therefore, in those communities where people cannot afford electricity, our government, we brought in the use of wind energy, we brought in the use of solar energy, we use hydropower. We are going to focus on the sun. Solar is now going to be able to provide electricity in our poor communities. And we are going to be using another technology with that, batteries. Because the problem with renewables before now was that after the sun go down or when the wind stop blow, you don't have the electricity.
Philip Paulwell, opposition spokesperson on energy.
The mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, has blamed successive People's National Party administrations for damaging Jamaica's economy. He was speaking at the launch of the Young Jamaica chapter in central Kingston yesterday.
I've seen and I've heard some recklessness coming out of the other side. And I don't even want to use the word reckless where they are concerned, because in fact, they wreck more. How can you borrow money to pay bills? People are borrow money to pay teacher, borrow money to pay nurses, borrow the money to pay police. If you're running a business and you are borrowing money to pay the business rent, shut it down. That is what the PNP was doing. So the debt went up and up. And then by the 1990s, under one man will come out and say he's the opening batsman, Mr. PJ Pattison, who has no moral authority to speak on economic performance. Come out and guess what? The PNP can't do no better because he's still better than Mark.
Mayor Vernon claims that the PNP lacks innovative ideas and has nothing to offer the nation's youth. He's also encouraging Jamaicans to register to vote before the enumeration deadline, emphasizing the importance of participation in the upcoming elections.
They have no clear plan for Jamaica. Any young person who is aware of our history and still choose to be a part of the PNP, I beg you, look into yourself. Because I don't see where you can find good arguments to propose as a young person about what the PNP did for Jamaica, especially in the last 30 years. No plans. So how can you even look in that direction? And it is for this reason why we must go into defense mode. This is how we're going to defend. We have a few days before the end of March. Numbers matter. We need to enumerate more.
That's the JLP's Richard Vernon, the mayor of Montego Bay.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The world in a minute. The U.S. has resumed deporting Venezuelans. A flight carrying 199 Venezuelans landed at Simón Bolívar Airport near Caracas on Monday. Repatriation flights from the U.S. to Venezuela had stopped several weeks ago. This after the Trump administration revoked a license allowing Venezuela to export some of its oil to the U.S. despite sanctions. But on Saturday, the two governments, which have no diplomatic relations, reached an agreement on resuming the flights as part of the Trump administration's plan to remove undocumented migrants. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro described the flights as a chance to rescue and free migrants from prisons in the U.S. The deportees had earlier been transferred from Texas to Honduras before being flown to Venezuela. The U.S. Bureau of Western Hemisphere Affairs described them as illegal aliens who had no basis to remain in America. But the head of Venezuela's National Assembly, Jorge Rodriguez, on the other hand, stressed on Saturday that migration was not a crime.
The U.S. President Donald Trump says he was not aware that information on war plans had been shared with a journalist by accident. Top national security officials for Mr. Trump, including his defense secretary, text war plans for upcoming military strikes in Yemen to a group chat which included a reporter. The journalist is the editor-in-chief for U.S. magazine The Atlantic. The National Security Council said the text chain appeared to be authentic. Trump told reporters he was unaware that the sensitive information had been shared 2.5 hours after it was reported. The journalist says the material in the text chain contained operational details of forthcoming strikes on Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. It also included information about targets, weapons the U.S. would be deploying, and attack sequencing. The National Security Council said in a statement that it was looking into how the editor's number was added to the group chat.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour. Face-to-face classes are set to resume at St. James High School tomorrow after they were disrupted today.
Water is back all over the compound now, and we will be back tomorrow. We want face-to-face because some of our students still don't have connectivity and stuff.
And Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon has asked the security forces to investigate and prosecute those involved in the disruption of classes at the school.
The NWC is again refuting what it says are false claims by the PMP regarding water safety in the corporate area.
Murders are down 34% since the start of the year.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
And listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multi-link?
Residents of Manchester, the Jamaica Customs Agency will be in your parish on Friday, March 28, 2025 from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. for Customs Meets the Community. The Town and Community Tour edition will kickstart this exciting tour in Christiana at 10 a.m. Then navigate into the parish capital, Mandeville, for the grand finale at 2:30 p.m. Get information on all things customs, contactless clearance, the Customs mobile app, incentives for farmers and manufacturers, and so much more. That's Customs Meets the Community, the Town and Community Tour edition in Manchester this Friday, March 28th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Jamaica Customs, reaching our customers where they are.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. The 115th staging of the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships will get underway on Tuesday at the National Stadium. Action gets going at 9 in the morning with the first round heats of the girls' class 3 1,500 meters. No final is scheduled for the opening day, where Kingston College and Edwin Allen will put their respective titles on the line. Both schools have been in fantastic form throughout the various meets across the country since the start of the year and are favourites to retain their respective crowns. Michael Dyke has been at the helm of all 11 titles won by Edwin Allen, the Frankfurt-based institution, and he told Nationwide Sports a short while ago that everything is in place in his camp and it's just a matter of getting started.
We're just ensuring that they remain as focused as possible and try not to do anything that would cause any incident or injuries or anything at this point in time. We're trying to keep them as motivated as possible and focused.
Much has been made of the newly renovated track at the National Stadium, but Dyke isn't worried.
I only would have seen it on videos and stuff. I haven't seen it as yet or got a chance to even touch or walk on it. But I'm hopeful that things will turn out to be what we anticipate.
Coach of Edwin Allen, Michael Dyke, speaking to Nationwide Sports a short while ago. Edwin Allen won the title last year with 335.5 points. They beat into second place the dethroned champions Heidel 326 and St. Jago 171. Kingston College will be going after title number 36, one that would be massively celebrated in the school's 100th anniversary and one which would be a grand send-off for Coach Leaford Grant, who has already announced this will be his last chance. Jamaica College and a greatly resurgent Calabar are the usual suspects expected to push the boys from North Street. Arnett Gardens, they're leading Malines United 1-0 at sports time in their Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League encounter at the Tony Sport, at Jewsland. That game has been played now at the Waterhouse Mini Stadium. Captain Fabian Reid shot the Junglists into the lead after just 2 minutes. Coming up at 7:45, host Waterhouse and Harbourview will meet in the feature game. National Senior Football Team coach Steve McLaren says they'll be treating tomorrow's return leg match against St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the CONCACAF Gold Cup qualifiers as a final. The teams meet at Sabina Park starting at 7 o'clock. The first leg ended 1-1 at Arnoldsville Stadium on Friday. McLaren says they're following the same formula as that of 1998 when the team historically qualified for the World Cup finals in France.
We have to win. That's the mentality. You know, when we look at the game and we saw the stats, I think 75% possession. I was talking to Rene last night, and we were talking about the style of football and what did he do in 98. And he talked about keeping the ball and possession of the ball, and one of their goals was to achieve 600 passes in a game. And I said, we were close the other day, we had 585. So, the principles are the same. So, in terms of possession, yeah, they defended deep, but we had lots of possession. We had 16 attempts at goal, and we had 7 on target. On the night, it was very frustrating. When you look at the game overall and the chances we created, we should have scored more than 1 goal, be it a penalty. We had lots of very, very good chances.
That's coach of the national senior football team, Steve McLaren. Finally, in sports at this time, Cricket West Indies and the West Indies Players Association say they are reviewing their policies following allegations of sexual harassment within the West Indies women's team during the Women's T20 World Cup in Australia in 2020. In a joint statement, both organizations say they take such matters seriously and remain fully committed to ensuring a safe, professional and supportive environment for all players and staff. WIPA and CWI will convene to review all aspects of athlete safeguarding within West Indies cricket. This joint effort, they say, reflects their commitment to upholding the high standards of player welfare and ensuring that all safeguarding policies remain robust and effective. The organizations did not delve into the allegations, Both organizations say they've already taken significant steps to enhance player protection. For example, in 2021, when they improved their safeguarding measures were introduced for women's tours. Since May of 2023, a single-room accommodation policy was put in place for all West Indies teams on all international assignments, ensuring parity with the men's team. That's just one of the policy initiatives within the Memorandum of Understanding for the period October 1, 2023 to September 30, 2027. They've also implemented a strictly adhered to UNICEF's Children Protection Policy, ensuring that minors never share rooms with adults under any circumstance. Additionally, they have mandated ongoing training for all officials to reinforce and uphold these standards. That will do it for sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you.
The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:31.
The sweetest deals are here in Active Home Center's Home Sweet Home Sale. From Monday, March 24th to Saturday, March 29th, grab amazing savings on brand new arrivals and back in stock favorites. Plus, enjoy store-wide discounts on tiles, bathrooms, furniture, lighting, and so much more. Hurry in! These deals won't last. Visit our showrooms in Kingston and Montego Bay. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices. Conditions apply.
For over 30 years, Chris and Charles has been financing your goals, dreams, creating your great moments. Celebrate the occasion with us. Borrow $1 million, pay less than $25,000 monthly, and get 30% off your processing fees. No guarantor needed. Call 876-920-4189 or WhatsApp 876-838-9028. Conditions apply. When you think loan, think Chris and Charles.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackhammer. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Big news! The Big Bite Food Safety Show now airs on Nationwide 90 FM with your host, Alison Richards, the Food Safety Girl. Join Alison every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. as she serves up expert advice, tips, and insights on everything food safety. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, food safety is everybody's business. Don't miss a bite of the action. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Join us on our next episode for Fish Tales, keeping seafood safe this Lent.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multi-link?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here nationwide at 5 this Monday afternoon. I'm Cliff Hughes.
Good afternoon, Cliff. Good afternoon, listeners. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Good afternoon, Ricardo.
How are you?
I'm here.
Good.
Well, in our cover story this afternoon, St. James High School back in the news for the wrong reasons again. Face-to-face classes are set to resume there tomorrow following two separate incidents that disrupted normal operations on Monday. In the first incident, students and staff arrived at the school to find the gates padlocked.
But once the locks were removed, it was found that there was no water on the compound. Here's Shalois Michael's report.
St. James High has been bedeviled by a long-standing dispute between the chairman of the board, Christopher McCurdy, and Principal Joseph Williams. The two have been at loggerheads over the composition of the board and the management of the institution. Classes were suspended just last month after both men engaged in a verbal altercation during a staff meeting at the school. The minister has since intervened, advising that the school board should continue with its current composition pending formal mediation. But the matter has escalated. On Monday, students and staff were left stranded outside after they found the gates chained with a padlock. It's not immediately clear who padlocked the gates. However, it's understood Principal Williams ordered the padlock cut to gain access. But upon entering the compound, students were sent home and told to continue classes online as there was no water at the school. Principal Williams says face-to-face classes will resume on Tuesday.
Water is back. We'll find out what happened with the water. Water is all over the compound now, and we'll be back tomorrow. We want face-to-face because some of our students still don't have connectivity and so. We want face-to-face tomorrow.
Mr. McCurdy told our news center that he will be demanding a report from Mr. Williams as to why the gates were locked.
I'm going to write and ask the principal to provide a report to the board to see who would be responsible for padlocking the main gate and the classrooms on a Monday morning when we're expecting our students to go to classes. These sort of setbacks hurting our students, and we have to do what we need to do to make sure that the interest of the students is protected.
But Principal Williams says based on his reports, the gates were padlocked because of disagreements over the continuation of the current board members.
The padlock obviously relates to the fact that, as was outlined in a meeting about a month ago, that they would have a change of board members, and then I know a letter came on Friday to say that no, there won't be any changes. I think it's a reaction to that.
Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
Thanks, Shaloy. With us now, we're being joined by the Executive Director of the National Council on Education, the NCE, Maris Murray. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Ms. Murray, has St. James High School come across your desk in terms of the issues the school has been facing?
Several issues have come to my desk, which are being dealt with. The last one, if I may recall, was the one that we had the issue on February 24 and the NCE, in collaboration with the region and the ministry. We went to the school. And we met with the staff. We met with all groups of staff. We met and with the board to discuss the issues that were impacting the institution.
And what is your understanding of those issues? The heart of the issue?
The in my opinion, based on the report that was prepared and submitted to the ministry, they're in the main relational. They're relational in nature, in terms of how the relationship between board chair and principal, between the members of the board among themselves, between teachers and teachers and staff. Teachers and students, and also there are issues relating to how principals relate to staff as well, both ancillary, administrative, and academic. So we thought, based on our deliberation on February 25, that the issues were so complex that we needed to take them to the drawing board to look at what would be an appropriate strategy to address these issues, because we know that we cannot allow them to fester. And so it's based on that report that was submitted, it was recommended that a comprehensive mediation strategy be pursued.
Which report are you speaking of, Ms. Myers?
I'm referring to the report that was prepared based on the meeting with St. James High staff, staff, members of the board on February 25.
This year,
as recent as last month.
And this problem has been in the making for more than 10 years. Are you aware of that?
Well, there have been several interventions during that period. We have changed board chairs. We have changed the board. We have had intervention strategies implemented by the ministry. That is why we recognize that this time around, we have to be very careful in the strategy that we embrace. No quick fix will do it, because it's a long-standing issue in terms of how St. James High has conducted business.
And just a moment, Ricardo. And over these 10, 11 years, what has been the common denominator?
That's my question.
Relationships. What is the relationship between the internal organization, which is the operational side of the school, and board?
Meaning the principal?
Well, the internal institution is headed by the principal.
Right. And you say that over those years, over the decade, you've changed the board. So going back to Cliff's question, what would be that common denominator running through that decade that you just can't seem to get a handle on? Since you've changed the board and the relationship problems continue with new boards.
All right, let me just say, let me go back to the time when the chair of council, Dr. Simon Clark, was asked to chair. There was some level of order and peace, although we had incidents that were dealt with by Simon. God bless his soul. So I think, again, in my opinion, it could be how we lead, how the board leads, how principal leads, and how do we manage those relationships. I think that is at the core of the issue that needs to be addressed.
And each time you change the board, those same leadership problems remain with different compositions?
I think, to be fair to the school and to the principal, if I may recall, after Dr. Clark left, we had a change in the guard, Custis speaking, and we didn't have any major issues being reported to the NCE. We need to be very fair and honest, because I looked at the report, I looked at the file in preparation for this interview, and that's what I detected in honesty. That's what I detected. Okay? Yeah.
We're up on a break, Ms. Murray. Stay with us.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
15 minutes to 6.
Crispy, crunchy, tantalizing fried chicken only at Bird Shack. Satisfy your hunger today. The time brought to you by Burchak Fried Chicken in Kingston, Montego Bay, and Ocho Rios is...
Digicel, live life your way, no free what? Digicel postpaid. With Digicel postpaid, it's all about you. Sign up or pay your bills to stay active for a chance to win a luxurious all-expense paid trip for two to Royalton, Antigua. With round-trip flights on us, every week you could win exciting prizes. Event tickets, gym memberships, spa packages, excursion adventures, restaurant vouchers, and more. When you opt in on the My Digicel app, life your way starts now with Digicel. Better connected.
Promotion ends March 31. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
I pursue opportunities.
I prepare for opportunities.
I plan for opportunities.
With Sagicor e-Invest, you can prepare, plan for, and pursue IPO opportunities. Browse IPOs, review IPO details and prospectuses. Select and apply for a featured IPO.
I-P-O.
With Sagicor e-Invest. Think wealth. Visit sagicor.com.
Fall in love with a new Mazda. From now until March 31, drive away an elegant CX-60, a majestic CX-90, or a nimble CX-5 and get a 2-year service package, 1 year free insurance, free license and registration, plus free window tinting. Conditions apply. Give in to temptation. Visit Executive Motors today. Mazda. Love at first drive.
14 minutes to 6 o'clock. We're continuing to grapple with the issue or the complex set of issues that have bedeviled St. James High School for the better part of a decade. We have with us the Executive Director of the National Council on Education, Maris Murray. Ms. Murray, are you there?
I'm here.
Good.
Great.
There was a special inquiry done in 2014 by a panel of investigators led by one of your predecessors at the National Council on Drug Abuse.
On education.
On education.
Uh-huh.
You recall that one? By Maurice Smith?
I didn't get the name. Who was that?
Maurice Smith?
Oh, Maurice Smith.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I recall. I remember that intervention that was done. It was commissioned by the ministry. To be honest, I can't remember the details, but I recall that it was done. I'm trying to find the report to see. Just looking if I could identify. I was just searching for the report, but I was unable to find it. But anyway, go ahead, Mr. Hughes.
Yes, that was done in April of 2014.
Yeah.
That's how long ago now? 11 years ago? Yes?
11 years, yeah.
And it says in part, page 13, we hereby find, confirm, and conclude that strained relationships among school personnel have not only contributed to a poor school climate, but have significantly eroded the institution's capacity to be effective. It is our finding as well that the working relationships between the principal and Bursa, as well as other members of staff, are irreparable. Irreparable.
Yeah.
Yes? And it goes on to itemize the findings. We hereby conclude that concerns expressed about the quality and effectiveness of the school's leadership and management are valid. Valid.
Yeah.
And posit that such leadership amounts to, read it for me, Ricardo, your manipulation. That last sentence there.
We hereby conclude that concerns expressed about the quality and effectiveness of the school's leadership and management are valid and posit that such leadership amounts to improper conduct, neglect of duty, inefficiency, lack of discipline, and such other conduct as may amount to professional misconduct.
Miss Murray.
Yes, Mr. Hughes.
That principal remains in charge at St. James High School.
Yeah.
11 years after. That's why I ask you about the common denominator. The common denominator, the principal. Yes, the ministry. No, I'm not asking you who dropped the ball. I'm putting it to you that the Ministry of Education has dropped the ball.
Why haven't you acted on this report? Or why didn't you act on this report?
No, but it's the board. We sent what we did. A new board was named. You know that, Mr. Hughes, the ministry cannot fire a principal, you know. It's the board that has to do so.
And
the board the board should have taken this report and lead out on this report, call a personnel committee meeting to investigate the matter. I don't recall if that was done because I'm not integral to school operations, right? So,
but the same report, the Maurice Smith report, says, we hereby find that the institution, by virtue of the principal's actions, whether overt or covert, is operating in breach of the FAA Act and other GOJ regulations, and as such, the principal should be held fully accountable. We also find that there are significant gaps in the management of the school's financial affairs, given the absence of strong internal monitoring mechanisms to ensure regulatory compliance, and that the existing arrangements are untenable and deserving of urgent intervention. What has the Ministry of Education been doing for 11 years?
To answer, that is why we are not removing this board. We know that there are problems in my opinion, and based on the discussions that have been had. But there are challenges on both sides. Yes, there's a challenge with maybe
But you have, based on your own special inquiry, findings of facts.
Yes.
And you have not dealt with the principal.
The file that you say you have, Miss Murray, that you were referencing earlier, none of these recommendations are on that file?
Apparently, I have a new file. I didn't move.
I'm sorry?
No. Sorry. The contents of my file have dropped. But the file which I have doesn't have a copy of that report. But I recall reviewing that report, and the matter was sent to the board when a new board was formed. It is the board now to lead out on this matter, convene a personnel committee.
Do you recall when it was sent to the board? Because this was 2014?
Yes.
2014. My file goes up to 2015. Maybe if you were patient enough to wait to see if I can.
Let me read you another conclusion and recommendation.
While you sort that file out.
Read this from there, Ricardo, because it's not all bad for the principal. Yes? Listen to what they conclude and recommend. Here. Yes?
Given the aforementioned findings, the POI, in undertaking this special inquiry, has noted the strides of the current school board in raising performance standards at St. James High School. It has also concluded that the principal has done much to raise the image of the school in the community and improve the provisions and infrastructure at the institution. It is also our considered view that though he does have the general interests and welfare of the students at heart, his conduct and practice of leadership leave much to be desired. It also wishes to note that the state of affairs at the institution is largely the result of ineffective leadership on the part of the principal that lacks the capacity to function in a rational, acceptable, and emotionally intelligent manner. As a consequence, therefore, it is the recommendation to the Honourable Minister that he considers whether or not the school board should remain as presently constituted or be revoked wholly or in part. We also recommend that he authorizes, that's the minister, and instructs that the National Education Inspectorate undertake an inspection of the school and operations during the current academic year.
Now, what has the Ministry of Education done?
But this is quite damning.
Damning!
That the principal lacks the rational, acceptable, and emotionally intelligent manner to function.
Yeah.
And you all continue to have him there.
Mr. Hughes, can I say something to you?
Sure, ma'am.
St. James High School has been a very difficult school to operate and govern. Yeah? it was referred to as senior school. It had, there were persons, parents were afraid, they were mortified to send their children to St. James, to senior school. And I guess now that we're reading and it's now coming back, the board was changed and it was headed by Simon Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And Simon Clark has international experience. He understood the dynamics of the school and the challenges. He's from the Montego Bay community. He understood the dynamics. So that is why maybe the board was somewhat conflicted in reviewing Mr. Williams, who had all these challenges but was able to impact student performance.
Mm-hmm.
That this is a dilemma that the ministry faces or continues to face. So how do we? And that is why when we came out of that intervention on the 25th, we didn't recommend that we are going to we did, in fact, we don't have the council doesn't, well, the team did not have the power to recall the board, but it could recommend, but we didn't recommend that. We said that there were issues on both sides that needed to be fixed.
Ms. Murray?
No. Mm-hmm. Yes, Mr. Hughes, there were
This is Ricardo Brooks.
Sides. Yeah, Mr. Brooks.
Yeah,
there were issues on both sides that need to be fixed.
Right.
And that is why we're saying, look, to lead on this, we need a comprehensive strategy to look at the internal issues in terms of the operational side of the school
but
and
Ms. Murray,
on the board.
You heard in that report
Yes.
that it said your body concluded that the relationships, the breakdown was irreparable. What gives you confidence that this mediation will work? Since from 2014, changing the board has not worked. The interventions you've made so far have not worked. And as you heard, we just read from the report the damning assessment of the situation at the school. What makes you think mediation will work now?
Because it's never been tried before. Let's try it. Let us try it.
While the children are experiencing this unstable educational environment, we're just going to try.
No. Not that we're, listen. We feel that the various stakeholders at the school level need to have a forum in which they can discuss their concerns, free from fear and which is also fair and transparent environment. We need to try the mediation strategy whereby persons can come and speak honestly and frankly about the challenges that they're experiencing on both sides, whether it is with the side of the principal, where he is being arrogant and insolent and so forth, or being, according to Maurice, he's socio-emotional, unintelligent.
But Ms. Murray, in the interim, while you try this strategy, and I don't know how long that will take because this one was from 2014.
3 months. No.
3 months.
The plan is 3 months.
So, and in that 3-month period, what happens to the children in this unstable environment?
We have to, listen, why are we doing this?
No, I understand what you're attempting to do, but I'm asking in the interim.
Yes, and we have to protect the interests of the students.
How will you do that?
We have to have hands-on supervision.
Who will provide that supervision?
Well, we have to discuss it. We have to go to the drawing board to look at what do we do so that we can correct the situation. Remember, that we are now we're approaching the period where students are doing external exams. And let me say something to you, and I'm just speaking based on the report that came out at that meeting on the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
St. James High, when you look at their performance, it ranked 6th in terms of performance within the Region 4 region.
6 of how many?
Region 4, yes.
6 of how many schools?
Well, probably 100, and I'm not quite sure. I don't want, it's a ballpark figure, but 100, and we have Region 4 is roughly 168 schools. Roughly.
And it came out number 6.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So it's 60 something. So, clearly, what is happening is not negatively impacting student performance, and maybe that is why there is some reason behind why
you all continue to put up with the poor leadership of Williams.
Because St. James High School is a difficult school to govern and manage.
Was that a concession to the question Cliff just asked?
Maybe. It is a difficult. We have to be honest with ourselves. It is coming from a school that socialized persons who went into criminal activity. It has moved away from that. We have seen students performing.
So the ends justifies the means.
Yes, 168. Right, 168 schools. So, what we're saying
is that the ends justifies the means.
I don't want to say that,
but that's what you're saying.
Hear me now. If we're experiencing the output that is desired and required, then let's tread softly and let's deal with the matter at hand. And let us not upset, because the children their performance are not negatively impacted.
I put it to you, Miss Murray, that is an alarming concession on your part. I find that frankly alarming.
And maybe you could say that if we found someone else and replacing, maybe we don't know, maybe the world would be at St. James' feet. We don't know. But it's a difficult ask, and I can't, because it's not my decision why. But I can only conjecture. It's really, I can only give you reasons why, because it's not my decision, okay, or the council's decision.
Well, Maris Murray, thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Murray.
You're most welcome.
Appreciate your time.
The Ministry of Education has failed us here, badly. There's no two way about it. They have failed the children, the community, and frankly the country on how they have handled this matter for the better part of 12, 14 years. And what she said to you a while ago is a big factor. They feel that Mr. Williams, despite all the things that they found about him, somehow the children are not negatively impacted, to quote her.
So this toxic, chaotic environment is allowed to continue.
Yeah.
Alarming.
Yeah. That's a cover story. The headlines are next.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
4 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Face-to-face classes are set to resume at St. James High on Tuesday following two separate incidents that disrupted normal operations on Monday. In the first incident, students and staff arrived at the institution to find the gates padlocked, but once the locks were removed, it was found that there was no water on the compound. The St. James High School has been bedeviled by a long-standing dispute between between the chairman of the board, Christopher McCurdy, and Principal Joseph Williams. The two have been at loggerheads over the composition of the board and the management of the institution. Classes were suspended just last month after both men engaged in a verbal altercation during a staff meeting at the school. The ministry has since intervened, advising that the school board should continue with its current composition pending formal mediation. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Education has enlisted security forces to investigate and prosecute those involved in the disruption of classes at St. James High. In a release to the media, the ministry says a team from its Region 4 office was dispatched to the institution to assess the issue. Permanent Secretary in the Education Ministry, Dr. Kassan Troop, has also condemned the padlocking of the gates as a cowardly and misguided move. She says the ministry, through the National Council on Education and the regional office, will advance work to address the governance issues at St. James High to restore stability. Dr. Troop says further updates will be provided as the situation develops. The National Water Commission, NWC, is again rejecting claims by the opposition People's National Party, PNP, that water provided by the Commission is contaminated. The opposition spokesman on water, Ian Hales, and its junior spokesman on health, Jesse James Clark, have alleged the purported contamination raises health concerns. But the NWC has strongly rejected the claims, describing them as false and misleading. The NWC says water supplied by the Commission remains safe for consumption. The Commission noted that its operations adhere strictly to the guidelines set by the Ministry of Health and the World Health Organization. It says it abides by the highest standards of water quality and safety. The NWC says it remains dedicated to transparency and will continue to deliver potable water that meets all regulatory and safety standards. The Commission is urging members of the public to rely on the accurate and verified information that it disseminates. Meanwhile, the Jamaica Labour Party says the PNP claims that water provided by the JLP says the PNP claims that water provided by the NWC's is contaminated are false, irresponsible, and reckless. JLP spokesman Senator Marlon Morgan says the claims are another indication of the opposition's inappropriate desperation for political power. According to Senator Morgan, it's unfortunate that the PNP repeated the false allegation despite the NWC's statement on the integrity and safety of the water. Senator Morgan says the statements from both Hales and Clark further confirm that the PNP is willing to attempt to sow panic among the nation in order to secure a perverse political advantage. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sports is next.
Win with love. Use your JMMB Money Transfer Prepaid Visa Card from October 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025 for a chance to win your share of a $2.1 million grand prize, plus a $100,000 university cash grant and cash back from paying tolls and shopping with your card. Receive money 24/7 in minutes with Visa Direct via MoneyGram, Zoom, Remitly, or directly through RIA and Zoom. Visit jm.jmmb.com/money-transfer for full details on how to enter and win with love. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply.
Yes, me get the last cheese. Taste the beat. Brothers and sisters, at the end of Easter service, we have cheese. Taste the beat. But one leg, we get no bun and cheese. Taste the beat. Serve, sell me some bun and cheese. Taste the beat. Why, this looking nice with some tasty cheese. Taste the beat. Can I have some cheese, please? Taste the beat. Make we get on real bad with the tasty cheese, boy.
We have the rhythm and the tints for you all, Easter. Don't fall victim to deepfakes.
Watch out.
Protect yourself.
How is this
For
on
more
my TV?
information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or
Here ya,
scan
baby.
the QR code on screen.
Deepfake. No deepfake can't catch me.
Junior, you know say AI can make something will look and sound just like you? One day Junior get a voice note from her granny. Say the food done, the medication done, and she need money urgently.
Need money urgently? But Miss Pat no like ask people things.
And as so comes, Junior get suspicious.
So what she do?
She asks the neighbor to go check pan her. Junior, the lady quite alright over there make her Sunday dinner.
So the voice note a deepfake?
Yes, my love. Come, your food ready.
Right now it look like we have to outsmart the AI. But wait, I really want dege dumpling here, give me.
Me I wonder if AI can make one deep fake dumpling for you.
To learn more about deepfakes, visit www.broadcastingcommission.org.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. The 115th staging of the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championship gets underway on Tuesday at the National Stadium. Action gets going at 9 with the first round heat of the girls' Class 3 1500 meters. No final is scheduled for the opening day, where Kingston College and Edwin Allen will put their respective titles on the line. Both schools have been in fantastic form throughout the various meets across the country since the start of the year, and they're favourites to retain their respective crowns. Michael Dyke has been at the helm of all 11 title wins for the Frankfield-based institution, and he told Nationwide Sports today that everything is in place in his camp and it's just a matter of get going.
We're just ensuring that they remain as focused as possible and try not to do anything that would cause any incident or injuries or anything at this point in time. We're trying to keep them as motivated as possible and focused.
And much has been made of the newly renovated track at the National Stadium, but Dyke isn't worried.
I only would have seen it on videos and stuff. I haven't seen it as yet or got a chance to even touch or walk on it. But I am hopeful that things will turn out to be what we anticipate.
Coach of Edwin Allen, Michael Dyke. Edwin Allen won the title last year with 335.5 points, beating into second place the throne champions Hydel 326 and St. Jago 171. Kingston College will be going after title number 36, one that would be massively celebrated in the school's 100th anniversary, and one which would be a grand send-off for their coach Leaford Grant, who has already announced this will be his last chance. Jamaica College and the greatly resurgent Calabar are the usual suspects expected to push the boys from North Street. Arnott Gardens, they've increased their lead over Malines United at sports time in the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League encounter at Jewsland. Captain Fabian Reid shot the Junglists into the lead after just 2 minutes. Kimani Auburn added a second close to half-time. Coming up at 7:45, Waterhouse and Harbourview will meet in the feature game. National Senior Football Team coach Steve McLaren says they'll be treating tomorrow's return leg match against St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the CONCACAF Gold Cup qualifiers as a final when they meet at Sabina Park at 7. The first leg ended 1-1 at Arnes Vale. What McLaren says they are following the same formula as that of the 1998 team that qualified historically for the World Cup finals in France.
We have to win. That's the mentality. You know, when we look at the game and we saw the stats, I think 75% possession. I was talking to Rene last night. And we were talking about the style of football and what did he do in 98. And he talked about keeping the ball and possession of the ball. And one of their goals was to achieve 600 passes in a game. And I said, we were close the other day, we had 585. So, the principles are the same. So, in terms of possession, yeah, they defended deep, but we had lots of possession. We had 16 attempts at goal, and we had 7 on target. On the night, it was very frustrating. When you look at the game overall and the chances we created, we should have scored more than 1 goal, be it a penalty. We had lots of very, very good chances.
Steve McLaren, head coach of the national senior football team. Cricket West Indies and the West Indies Players Association say they are reviewing their policies following allegations of sexual harassment within the West Indies women's team during the Women's T20 World Cup in Australia in 2020. In a joint statement, both organizations say they take such matters seriously and remain fully committed to ensuring a safe, professional and supportive environment for all players and staff. WEPA and CWI will convene to review all aspects of athlete safeguarding within West Indies cricket. This joint effort, they say, reflects their commitment to upholding the high standards of player welfare and ensuring that all safeguarding policies remain robust and effective. The organizations did not delve further into the allegations of sexual harassment in the West Indies women's team. Both organizations say they've already taken significant steps to enhance player protection. For example, in 2021, when the improved safeguarding measures were introduced for women's tours. Since May of 2023, a single-room accommodation policy was put in place for the West Indies women's team on all international assignments, ensuring parity with the men's team. That's just one of the policy initiatives within the Memorandum of Understanding for the period October 1, 2023 to September 30, 2027. They've also implemented and strictly adhered to UNICEF's Children Protection Policy, ensuring that minors never share rooms with adults under any circumstance. Additionally, they have mandated ongoing training for all officials to reinforce and uphold these standards. Jamaica finished 17th on the medal table with 2 silver and 2 bronze at the 3-day World Indoor Athletics Championships, which ended in Nanjing, China on Sunday. Jamaica bagged the 3 medals on the final day to go along with Raymond Richards' bronze in the men's high jump on the opening day. This betters the 3 bronze medals won at the last World Indoors in Glasgow, Scotland. Wayne Pinnock produced the season's best, 8 meters 29, to take silver in the men's long jump on the final day to complete the set, having won silver at the World Outdoor Championships in Budapest and also at the Olympic Games in Paris last year. The event was won by Italy's Mattia Furlani with a jump of 8 meters 30. Akira Nugent gave Jamaica its first and only medal on the female side when she clocked the season's best 7.74 seconds for third in the 60 meters hurdles, her first senior global medal. World record holder Devine Charlton of the Bahamas retained her title with a season's best 7.72 seconds, and Switzerland's Dikaji Kambunje second in 7.73 seconds. The quartet of Rasheen McDonald, Joshua Dennis, Kimara Farquharson, and Demar Francis produced the season's best 3 minutes 05.05 seconds to take silver in the men's 4x400 meters relay. The U.S. won in a season's best at 3 minutes 03.13 seconds. And just going back to cricket for a bit, 3 Jamaicans, Chanel Henry, Stephanie Taylor and Rashada Williams, have been named in a 15-strong squad to represent the West Indies in the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup qualifiers in Lahore, Pakistan, April 9 to 19. Taylor and Henry returned from injuries, while Williams joined the squad after impressing with her performances in the CG United Super 50 tournament. The team travelled today to a pre-tournament camp in the United Arab Emirates before moving on to Pakistan to compete for one of 2 final qualification spots for the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup to be hosted in India in October and November of this year. There are 3 changes from the squad that contested the ODI home series versus Bangladesh in St. Kitts in January. They replaced Narissa Crafton, Janaba Joseph, and DeAndre Dottin, who missed out through injury. The West Indies will face hosts Pakistan, Ireland, Bangladesh, Scotland, and Thailand. In the qualifiers, the top 2 teams will join Australia, England, New Zealand, South Africa, Sri Lanka, and host India in the main tournament. Bangladesh, West Indies, Pakistan, and Iceland were forced into the qualifiers. The Cricket World Cup having finished in 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th places respectively at the ICC Women's Championships. All 15 games in the round-robin tournament will be played in Lahore, Pakistan, at the Qaddafi Stadium and Lahore City Cricket Association Stadium. The West Indies women begin their campaign on April 9 against Scotland at the LCC Stadium, followed by matches against Ireland, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Thailand. The rest of the West Indies squad reads Captain Hayley Matthews, Vice-Captain Shermaine Campbell, Alia Alain, Afif Fletcher, Sherian Fraser, Shabika Gajnabi, Janelle Glasgow, Zadie James, Kiana Joseph, Mandy Mangu, Ashmini Munisar, and Karishma Ramnarak. That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household, and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
30 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 27 in the western city, Montego Bay.
The NWC's bill-free promotion is here. Be one of 350 persons to get $20,000 water credit when you pay your bill in full every month until March 31, 2025. And there's more. Oh yes, you can win $300,000, $200,000, or $100,000 cash in the NWC's bill-free promotion if you register for e-bill and pay your bill in full every month until March 31. Conditions apply. Visit nwcjamaica.com for details. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act, a part of the NWC's bucket full of goodies.
The sweetest deals are here in Active Home Center's Home Sweet Home Sale. From Monday, March 24th to Saturday, March 29, grab amazing savings on brand new arrivals and back in stock favorites. Plus, enjoy store-wide discounts on tiles, bathrooms, furniture, lighting, and so much more. Hurry in! These deals won't last. Visit our showrooms in Kingston and Montego Bay. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices. Conditions apply.
Using the road responsibly means looking out for other road users. So whether you have your own set of wheels, pedaling your bicycle, or using your own 2 feet, everyone has a right to use the road. Remember to look out before you step out. A message from the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport.
Maxfield Bakery, breads and buns and Maxfield Bakery for breads and buns and bullets too. It's Maxfield Bakery for the best Easter bun, you know that's
Maxfield Easter bun, the juicy fruity Easter bun. Order online and send abroad at maxfieldbakery.com or call Maxfield Bakery at 926-2160 or 929-3897 and get yours before they're done. Scatter says so.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robianne Williams. A special one to our friends on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, we like to hear from you, so we ask you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. Yep. March 18, 2025 marked 1 year since Dr. Kevin Blake took office as Commissioner of Police for the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. Now, over the past 12 months, Commissioner Blake, he has made strides in improving law enforcement, reducing crime, and enhancing the overall efficiency of the police force. The JCF says his leadership has led to several achievements, including reduction in the murder rate, significant increase in promotions, the establishment of the Beat Officer Patrol Division, and also several others, meetings with the police officers in all 5 police areas, and investment in SWAT training, decline in other major crimes, and a whole host of things, So in Public Opinion this evening, we're asking, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, of course, how would you rate Dr. Kevin Blake's first year as Commissioner of Police? On a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate Dr. Kevin Blake's first year as Commissioner of Police? Let's start with the comments on our Facebook platform. Lily Roses is saying 10. The man killed the 5 scale, him stand up for we, and his police them. They all doing a good job taking back Jamaica from the criminals. Shawnee Reynolds saying the fact that him suck it to JFJ is enough. I am giving him a 7+. You can feel his presence. Audley Phillip is saying that Dr. Blake has done a remarkable job thus far. Audley is saying that he loves his no-nonsense approach and his ever-willingness to rebuff naysayers. And he's saying that leadership matters. For Daphne McCreath, she's saying that Dr. Kevin Blake deserves a lot of 5. Because he makes the murderers feel and see his presence, and a lot of people trust him. For Joel Michael Levy, the commissioners with strong support from the Minister of National Security has effectively grown in the job, and as a result, my grade is 7 out of 10, so he broke the 1 to 5 scale. Isaac Anywhere saying 5, excellent job, keep up the good work. For Salome Paul, I must admit, when he just got the job, he never sounded as confident as he is now. He has shown that he's a no-nonsense person, a leader, and will challenge the naysayers. Definitely a 5 for Salome Paul. Shins for Life Law saying 4.5 heading to 5, with few more criminals left to be eliminated. Wow. Yeah. All right, let me see if I can get some more of the comments going on our Instagram platform. DB Bardley saying 5 out of 5, an A+, job well done. One Leprodon is saying -5. Fami Michael is saying 5. Lord Knight, or that should be Lord Height, is saying the one thing we all know is that the JCF needs to be wearing body cameras. Yeah? Let me see if I can get in some more on our X platform. Jay Brown says 4. He has built on what was left by the previous commissioner. Kevin O'Brien Chang is giving Dr. Kevin Blake a 5 out of 5. Yeah? Them still a scam. Wow. What kind of social media handle this? All right, fine. Them still a scam. We're saying 2. Too many police killings under his watch. Wow. With no accountability. Yeah. Let me see if I can get in a few more comments. For Voice of Truth, Dr. Kevin Blake has broken the scale of 1 to 5, and he's saying is a 10. Is a 10. Let me see. Betty James also saying 5 and counting. He's doing an excellent job. Let me see what our YouTubers are saying. On a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate Dr. Kevin Blake's first year as Commissioner of Police? Let me see on our YouTube platform. Yeah. Wow. Okay, wow. I don't think these comments are for this public opinion. I'm scrolling through. They're coming up as I scroll. Yeah. Until then, I'll stick to the comments on Facebook. Mark Ranger says fully 5. Bad English saying I'm giving him a solid 5. He's on a mission and it's paying off. Outstanding work so far. All right, here comes the comments on our YouTube platform. Electro saying 5 out of 5. I'm seeing 5.9 from Sharon Miller. 4.5 from Bally. Calden Royal is rating Dr. Kevin Blake's performance is 1 year 5. For Ken Ute Mullings, 9 out of 10. Yeah? 5 out of 5 for Marjorie G. Also, Start Girl saying I give him 9. I'm seeing a lot of 9, and the scale no reach 9, but when I broke his scale, all right, not bad at all. K Ambitious saying 4 out of 5. Excellent job. I need to come home. Yeah. Wilbert Davis is saying Commissioner Blake, best commissioner to date, 5+. May I see some number whenever it really depends on the scale? All 500. All right, Cornell, I see you. 5 out of 5 coming from Bones Ennis. We're rating the performance of and the achievements of Dr. Kevin Blake, Commissioner of Police. March 18, yeah, made it 1 year since he's been the commissioner of the JCF. I'm here people are asking if 1 year fly off so quick. Yeah, man. When I say March done already, and a new month I go start. I think today I said to somebody that me feel like a November already because the year just a fly fast. The year flying fast. Silly Billy saying 5 out of 5. Maxine Anderson, awesome job with a 5. A lot of comments coming in on this one. A lot of positive feedback, and we welcome positivity. It's good to see, yeah, because the JCF outlined several achievements under his watch, and I was speaking to a security expert, yeah, former SSP, And he was saying that the increase in promotions, and we've seen them, we've heard them, SSP, people moving up in the ranks, superintendent, and we've seen the promotions. And I think the SSP that I spoke with, he says that that's one of the greatest things that any commissioner could do because them love the increase in promotion. Yeah? So under Commissioner Blake's watch, significant increase in promotions, reduction in the murder rate, meetings with police officers in all 5 police areas, connecting with the professionals, recognition of excellence, acknowledging and rewarding outstanding police personnel. Yeah? Yeah. 5 out of 5 all around I'm seeing coming in on our YouTube platform. So too on Facebook. Very well comments there. Commendations going out to the Commissioner of Police. Albert Lewis says Dr. Blake deserves 5+ out of 5. Remember, he was instrumental in many of the technical and strategic changes under former Commissioner Anderson. Yeah? A lot of comments coming in on this one. Let me see. Great job, Commissioner. We see the change in crime rate coming from Sonia Solomon. Dr. Blake says Philip Jackson. Dr. Blake hit the road running. I don't know how you get 8 for come out of 5. I don't know, Philip Jackson, the maths now maths, but yeah, I get your point. I see what you're saying. For Angie Favorable, she's saying it only can get better with Dr. Blake. 5 out of 5. J. Ham says 4. There's always room for improvement. And for Jackie Pottinger, Jackie's saying, I will be living back in Jamaica. Kevin Blake, 10. Yeah. All around, I see very good comments coming in. And I must say, it is very rare that you see this. It's very rare that you see this. Beverly Ricketts saying, Ace Commissioner. And it's all around. All the comments that I've seen so far on our Facebook, on our Instagram, on our X platform, it's good comments all around. So it's doing something. The commissioner is doing and people are recognizing and acknowledging. Yeah. So commendations going out to Commissioner Blake. 1 year. Thank you guys so much for participating in Public Opinion. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:32. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Popular DNA testing firm 23andMe has filed for bankruptcy protection. It has also announced that its co-founder and CEO has resigned with immediate effect. The company will now attempt to sell itself under the supervision of a court. 23andMe said in a press release that it plans to continue operating throughout the sale process and that there are no changes to the way the company stores, manages, or protects customer data. 23andMe's saliva-based test kits were once celebrated among customers and investors who helped to push the company's value as high as $6 billion. But it has been struggling for survival. Founded in 2006, the company went public in 2021, but has never turned a profit. In the U.S., President Donald Trump has threatened to impose tariffs of 25% on imports from countries that purchase oil from Venezuela. Trump described the move as a secondary tariff aimed at punishing the Latin American country for numerous reasons, including allegedly purposefully sending gang members to the U.S. Separately, Trump suggested he was softening his plans for tariffs on imports from other countries, saying he may give a lot of countries breaks. Markets ended the day higher after the comments, which appear to confirm reports that he was narrowing the taxes he plans to announce on April 2. And in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 157 Jamaican dollars and 77 cents to buy $1, 202 Jamaican dollars and 99 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 110 Jamaican dollars and 22 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robeanne Williams. Good evening.
Digicel, live life your way, no free what? Digicel postpaid. With Digicel postpaid, it's all about you. Sign up or pay your bills to stay active for a chance to win a luxurious all-expense paid trip for two to Royalton, Antigua. With round-trip flights on us, every week you could win exciting prizes. Event tickets, gym memberships, spa packages, excursion adventures, restaurant vouchers, and more. When you opt in on the My Digicel app, life your way starts now with Digicel. Better connected.
Promotion ends March 31. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The Conference of Choice is back. Join us April 29 to 30 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel Kingston and online for the world's only Middle Managers Leadership Conference. Hear from 30 business leaders across 4 continents. Expand your network, gain strategies, and elevate your leadership. Learn, connect, and grow with experts. Limited on-site spaces available. Register now at makeyourmarkgroup.com or call 876-978-60022. MMC 2025, a legacy of transformation and execution.
Want to reduce your high electricity bills? Then Peak Energy has the solution for you. From grid tie to hybrid solar inverters with full lithium-ion battery pack. Installation and maintenance packages available. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hill, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
Coveside Concert Series presents Timeless. It happens on March 29 at Plantation Cove, St. Anne. Featuring international superstar Dionne Warwick and more stars Myrna Hague, Queen Marcia Griffiths, and Dwayne Stevens. Timeless, March 29. Showtime is 8 p.m. and tickets are now available at Fesco Fontana Pharmacy, Plantation Smokehouse, and online at coveside.aitix.com.
What's everyone talking about? It's Front Page and This Morning. Get the issue of the day this and every weekday morning at 7:20 a.m. on Front Page. This Morning. Morning radio the right way. Front Page is brought to you by ABC Electrical for a better choice in the electrical business.
It's Monday. Get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With the Stinger Honey Bee.
And Karim Boyatings.
From 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. Why you said?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to EZONE blinddates@gmail.com. That's EZoneblinddates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions. Share them with us at EZoneConfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow! Ow!
Big news!
The Big Bite Food Safety Show now airs on Nationwide 90 FM with your host, Alison Richards, the Food Safety Girl. Join Alison every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. as she serves up expert advice, tips, and insights on everything food safety. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, food safety is everybody's business. Don't miss a bite of the action. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Join us on our next episode for Fish Tales, keeping seafood safe this Lent.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Cliff Says is by far the most popular mid-morning radio segment in Jamaica. Cliff Hughes shares his views on the hot-button topics of the day, editorializing on various issues in the news, breaking news stories, and expounding on stories. Cliff Says sets the tone of the show for the rest of the day. Join the award-winning journalist Cliff Hughes weekdays during Cliff Hughes Online at 10 to 10:30 a.m. Join the revolution in media.
Cliff Says is brought to you by Educom Credit Union, providing value through service, and Hyundai, modern premium affordable vehicles.
Taboo topics, bulletins after dusk,
Riveting discussions,
celebrity news and interviews,
topics that are shunned by society,
and everything else in between.
Boyatings After Dark with Kareem Boyatings each and every Wednesday, 8 to 11 p.m.
Boyatings After Dark.
No topic is too taboo or hard to discuss. Come get your mind blown and your curiosity explored.
Boyatings After Dark.
Nationwide 90 FM wants to help you find your home sweet home with all things real estate. A 15-minute program during Nationwide This Morning every Wednesday at 8:35 a.m. All Things Real Estate gives you expert advice on how to navigate the process of owning any real estate, from residential and commercial to industrial or even vacant real estate. We'll guide you through every square foot of information. Now, let's turn that for sale into sold with All Things Real Estate every Wednesday at 8:35 a.m. on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we are all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, Nationwide This Morning, for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide at 90 FM, the revolution in media.
How certain are you that you're taking proper care of your pets? How often do you take them to the vet? Just as we need annual checkups with our doctors, most pets need regular checkups too. Owning and caring for a family pet doesn't have to be a difficult or burdensome experience. Nationwide 90 FM has an exciting feature called Pets World that will help you take better care of your pets. Join Nationwide 90 FM every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning as we take you into the do's and don'ts of caring for your pets. That's Pets World every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Looking to rent a fully operational production studio? Then Nationwide 90 FM has got you covered. We have flexible options to meet your recording needs any day of the week. Monday to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays available upon request. Bookings must be made in advance. Call us today at 630-1210. Let us help you reach your production desires.
Public opinion. Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are a Jamaican. Different people.
It's not a matter of a GLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
This time signal is sponsored by Janet Global Accreditation, an agency of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. The time is now
6:47. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Cliff Hughes.
And we are set to focus on this issue of water safety or allegations regarding water safety in the Kingston and St. Andrew area. The opposition People's National Party are raising questions that the water could be contaminated. Those claims were made by first the junior spokesman on health, Jesse James Clark. I think he said there was fecal contamination. And then the opposition spokesperson on water, Ian Hales. He is called on the NWC to be transparent and to release their tests. Well, the NWC is categorically rejecting as false and misleading the recent statements by the opposition spokesperson on water regarding the safety and reliability of the nation's water supply.
And it says it's assuring customers in urban and rural Kingston and St. Andrew areas, as well as those in the wider nation, that the water supplied by the Commission remains safe for consumption. Or operations adhere strictly to the guidelines set by the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the World Health Organization to ensure the highest standards of water quality and safety, says the National Water Commission.
Its acting corporate public relations manager is Delano Williams, and he's with us now. Good evening, Mr. Williams.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, gentlemen. Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
I joined you a little bit late.
All right, that's fine. Let me just be clear. You're saying that there's absolutely no truth to the allegations that the water supply being provided by the NWC is contaminated.
What we're saying is that we're not seeing cases of any contamination. Those are our readings. The second thing is what is being presented as fecal coliform is in fact a representation of general or what is called total coliform. There is a separate test that is done to show fecal coliform. And so the concern that would have been raised with the public is what we are seeking to allay, and also to highlight why we stand on the fact that our water is safe, in that where we have adverse readings of any kind relating to water quality, the steps that we take are immediate and thorough in terms of sanitizing any section of our facility or network, retesting before we restart any water supply distribution.
Mr. Williams, I think we need to explain. What do
Yes.
we mean by fecal coliform versus general coliform?
So, I did say general, but the correct term is total. So, coliform is a natural occurring bacteria which can be found in the soil, in vegetarian. It's a large blanket group of it. Whenever there is an occurrence of it, what we find, Cliff, is generally in rural systems, you may have more practices on the banks of rivers which filter into this, what we call surface sources, right? So wash off from farming activities, domestic activities, which transfer, or just clearing of land like slash and burn activities. Now, these import nutrients into the water, which could be coliform. So the reports we present show instances when the water may have some of those. All right? Now, those are the general reports we present to the KSAMC, and in fact to any municipal corporation, because we are providing full disclosure. Now, if and when we see an occurrence of that, we do a further test to look for fecal matter, and we have seen far less instances of those. Out of January, there were 2 sole incidents out of 208 samples, and I'm talking not 2 over the space of a month, like 2 single days. And over the period of February, there were 6 instances out of a total of 300 plus samples, which we then immediately respond to treat with. And I want to give you an illustration of how quickly we treat with matters. Now, on Saturday, just to show you how systematic we operate, we picked up on our Rio Cobra system, moving a little bit from KSA into St. Catherine. On our Rio Cobra system, we picked up that the water coming to the facility may have had readings that were above what is normally treatable and safe for public consumption.
That is
we immediately shut
readings
the plant
of fecal coliform.
Not in this case, but just generally a pollutant. So we would have taken our what we call raw water readings, and then we followed through in terms of treating with those matters immediately. So we clean the intake of the facility, and then we move from there to retest before we restart any water supply distribution.
So give us a timeline. When did you do that?
So this is over the weekend. We did that on Saturday.
On Saturday, having picked up the readings when?
Early Saturday morning. Early Saturday morning, and by mid-morning we had shut down. We continued to monitor the readings throughout into Sunday before we restarted.
So by shutdown, you restricted the water supply so that you could monitor the situation.
Right. So effectively, there is no water coming into the system. Now, the rural system, some of them are a little different because even along the network, we also have to track it for any kind of intrusion that may occur. So what we do, we test both at the facilities. We also take samples along the network. But we don't stop there. We follow also the guidelines from the Ministry of Health and Wellness because they are our regulatory body in terms of water quality and wastewater quality operations. They take independent tests and samples, and in the event that there were any adverse or prolonged issues, then they would therefore take the steps necessary to, for instance, issue a boiled water advisory.
Right. How often are these tests conducted?
We take samples daily, literally take samples from every facility on a daily basis. Across what we call the Eastern Division, we take over 2,000 samples on a monthly basis. And this is because we recognize, for instance, again, while you have well sources which are fairly predictable, 2/3 of our systems are surface sources, river sources, spring sources, and any kind of activity can change, and they are dynamic. The other thing we do in terms of monitoring is that for our rural systems, we have what are called static operators, meaning a man or a woman is stationed there throughout the day to monitor inflows and water supply operations versus some plants that are automated where we check them periodically throughout the course of the day. And that is the level of rigorous follow-through that we're aiming to do.
Yeah.
Now,
Go ahead, finish your thought.
If I may, we're not saying there isn't more work to do, because when you look at the environmental factors, Sir Cliff, listeners, there is always a risk from just the human activity around the facilities. And so the public education, looking at new technologies, introducing new equipment at the plant that helps us to treat with these issues. All of these are stuff that we continue to do. Those are short, medium to long term. But the immediate steps are why we stand on our statement that the water supply that we provide is safe, because where we have adverse readings, the steps we take to safeguard water supply, whether it's simply just to shut down and sterilize, it means that the water does not get to the residents.
Yeah. Delano, Jesse James Clark, the junior opposition spokesman on health, he seemed to be suggesting in the video I saw that he had done his own tests and he had the samples. Do you know whether those samples that he's claiming to have observed this contamination, in the purported contamination, was it shared with the commission? Do you know?
Well, like I said to you, we provide the readings and the instances. So we literally disclose where we pick up readings that are of good quality and where we pick up readings that are not of great quality, right? What the report shows are all of those situations, our total samples and also the total number of the samples that missed the mark.
No, man, I understand
your
that.
sample
Right.
he was
But they
quoting
had
from?
our report.
Oh,
they had
it was
our report. How it was interpreted, interpreted as fecal coliform.
Oh,
which
so it was
is why
your
I
report.
made the distinction that the report does not represent fecal coliform. It's showing total coliform.
And this is an important clarification because
Yes.
another media house reported that he had done his own testing. And based on his testing, he was raising these concerns. I mean, I know that they've since deleted the video with him making these claims. So the report that he's quoting, you're saying, came from the NWC.
The report that we presented shows, so I don't know if at any instance he may have quoted from another report. The report we present shows, as I said, full disclosure of the realities of harnessing water, treating water from all our sources. And as I said, the challenges that are accompany those kind of operations. It shows total coliform, what it So there, but it was what I'm seeing presented in the public space is that these numbers represent fecal coliform, and that would be inaccurate.
And this report was shared with the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation.
Yeah, we do visit as per invitation. We do visit. We present on the work that we do in all of our operations because that the municipal provides an oversight on some of the same areas that we administer water to.
Okay. And so the takeaway this evening, Delano, is that you can assure Jamaicans, especially those in the Kingston and St. Andrew area, that the water is safe.
Yes, right? We are not going to deny that there are challenges, all right? Some systems are rural. When I say rural, I mean you have to cross gullies to get to the facilities. There are some places that were very small, like they only served just maybe a family, and then it extended into maybe 30, 40 homes. So we are still having to trek across very rough terrain to get some facilities. And so even the infrastructure that is there, ideally you would want them to look very pristine, but the work it takes is a progressive one. And we are up to the challenge. We have been making those changes. But in the meantime, what we do immediately is when we see adverse findings, we respond immediately.
Yeah. Delano Williams, thank you so much. Appreciate the clarification.
Thank you for having me.
You see, Cliff, that's why it's so important that we in media do our work properly, because when the caption I saw in the video, when I watched the video, it said, having done numerous tests, that the junior spokesman was making claims about fecal contamination. And my first reaction was, what? And so I watched the video, and the caption suggested he had done some independent testing. And so I don't know if you saw my message in the group. I was asking, what are his qualifications to do these tests?
Yeah, I saw that message.
And my next question was, what did the media house do in terms of follow-up to find out from the Ministry of Health, Public Health Department, what is the true situation? So the report was actually provided to the local authority.
As in the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation. By the NWC.
So they weren't hiding anything. So the call from Mr. Ian Hales for them to release information, they already released it. That's how you were able to make much ado about nothing.
All right. Let's go to the break and come back.
Jamaica's Spark program is investing $45 billion to improve roads, water, and telecom. Better infrastructure for a better future. The time by Spark is
2 minutes after 7.
March into savings with ATL's March Madness Sale. Get up to 50% off select appliances, electronics, and hard-to-find parts all month long. Upgrade your home and business with everything you need at unbeatable prices and best quality brands. Shop in store at Kingston, Ocho Rios, and Montego Bay. Or beat the traffic and buy online at atljamaica.com and get island-wide delivery. ATL, the best brands, the best service. Sale ends March 31. While stocks last, conditions apply.
Looking for a gym that's got it all? Welcome to Express Fitness, where fitness meets convenience. With 24/7 access, you can work out whenever it suits you. And with island-wide locations, we're always close by anywhere and anytime. Love classes? We've got them. From aerobics to dance to spin, you name it, we've got it. Our certified trainers are here to take you on a journey. Call us at 888-FITNESS or visit our website at expressfitnessja.com. Express Fitness, your goal or mission.
Attention motorists, it's time to switch to the T-Tag on Trans-Jam highways. Our automated T-Tag lanes reduce the cost of managing cash at our toll plazas, and drivers of Class 1 and 2 vehicles who use the T-Tag pay a lower toll fare than those who use the manually operated toll booths. They also get their 10th trip through any toll plaza free. The T-Tag makes it quicker, more cost-efficient, and safer for our customers. So switch to the T-Tag today and experience the convenience. T-Tag packages are discounted to only $1,500, including a $500 toll credit from now until March 31st.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. APC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Four minutes after 7. This is Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks. And the circus, that is the U.S. government, continues.
How dare you? The circus?
But it has to be. This story is so... Can you imagine
bizarre.
Andrew Holness randomly adding us to a group chat?
From the National Security Council. Yeah.
JDF plans.
Where they have outlined the plans of how they're going to go after the criminals, a set of criminals and gang leaders. Yeah, giving us details.
Surely this is grown to resignation.
Of course.
This is extraordinary. Listeners, what are we talking about?
Well, in the United States this evening, there's a story that's really, really rocking the establishment in Washington, D.C., where former national security officials are reacting with shock and horror to revelations today in the Atlantic News magazine that top members of President Trump's cabinet sent detailed war plans and other likely classified information to a group thread on a messaging app. And one of those in the group forwarded the messages to a reporter at the Atlantic.
The Trump administration acknowledged the messages sent over the non-government encrypted chat app Signal. Some of you might know it. When you want to hide things from your partners, that's where you all go.
Really?
Yes. The Trump administration is saying that it seems to be authentic without offering any explanation for why senior officials were discussing national defense information outside of approved classified government systems.
According to The Atlantic, National Security Advisors Mike Waltz earlier this month convened a text conversation with other top U.S. officials, among them Vice President J.D. Vance, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and the purpose to discuss airstrikes on Houthi militants in Yemen who had been threatening international shipping in the Red Sea. Waltz apparently accidentally added the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, to the chain.
And here is how the commander-in-chief responded to journalists when asked about the claims in The Atlantic.
Mr. President, your reaction to the story in The Atlantic that said that some of your top cabinet officials and aides had been discussing very sensitive material through Signal and included an Atlantic reporter for that. What is your response to that?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of The Atlantic. To me, it's a magazine that's going out of business. I think it's not much of a magazine, but I know nothing about it. You're saying that they had what?
They were using Signal to coordinate on sensitive materials and
having to do with what? Having to do with what? What were they talking about?
With the Houthis.
The Houthis? You mean the attack on the Houthis? Well, it couldn't have been very effective because the attack was very effective. I can tell you that. I don't know anything about it. You're telling me about it for the first time.
Typical Trump.
And you question my use of the word circus. With us now, senior fellow at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government, Professor Richard Parker. Good evening, Professor.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm glad you two are having such a good time of it. It's a little stiff over here in the United States with this government.
I don't know, Professor. This is just
bizarre.
I've never seen anything like this.
Well, I mean, there have been leaks. So, a couple things. There are always leaks going on, inadvertent and intended. Just last October, a CIA official, low rank, released secret plans that were the U.S.'s tracking of Israeli plans to attack Iran in October, just 2 weeks before the U.S. election. He's now been arrested in Cambodia, brought back for trial, and is convicted. And that's been almost completely overlooked. Back as early as the 1980s, there was David Stockman, who was the budget director for Ronald Reagan, who gave a lengthy interview to a senior reporter who then published it in The Atlantic, which basically blew the whistle on the fraud of Reagan's economic plans in terms of balancing the budget and helping people who were below the 1%. So in that sense, the fact that something has slipped out of a government as incompetently run as this one by itself shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, everything that they have done, from the executive orders to deport to cutting federal employment in the Internal Revenue Service or the like, has been marked by incompetence. Now, one of the executive orders that I'm aware of the 100 or more that he's issued, have gone unchallenged. And as of this moment, something like half of his executive orders are tied up in federal courts for the simple reason that he violated either the law or it's the Constitution itself. So on one level, welcome to our circus. I'm very sorry. I apologize to you and the rest of the world for what's going on, but there it is.
I want to ask you, though, Professor, looking on, we are alarmed. This is the world's greatest military power. What are the implications? What are the implications if one of America's adversaries, were to tap into such an app? It's not a secured facility, and were to put their hands on this, whether it's the Chinese, Russians, the Iranians. What are the implications?
Well, first of all, I would assume that they're already doing it. It's not a what if.
Oh.
I assume that remember Hillary and her email crisis?
Yes.
However many years ago, was it 8 years ago that was? And the idea that we have secure systems that can't be penetrated by foreign intelligence doesn't seem to me to hold up consistently. We're continually finding holes or hacks into the U.S. intelligence system. That makes me feel that there's almost nothing that is exchanged electronically that you can be certain is not known to our enemies or our competitors. It's that bad. We have 16 intelligence systems going simultaneously under the United States. Tulsi Gabbard is supervising a dozen and a half different intelligence systems, operations, apart from the CIA, that gather geospatial intelligence, that gather blah, 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 blah. And the idea that there aren't leaks in this system just from missed coordination of systems between these multiple entities, impossible. Impossible to believe that it's not happening.
And how is the Trump administration reacting to the shock?
Denial. They're going to bluff their way through this as they bluff their way through everything. I mean, that's what they have discovered is just pretend that you, the accuser, are wrong, that you're merely leveling an accusation, and that the truth is either two-sided or the truth is on the side of the Trump administration. And I think that the press, and to a degree, increasing numbers of the public, have wised up to this, so that it's good every so often to take a look at this kind of amateurism, multiple amateurism. It's not just about signals protection. It's about the level of reasoning and discussion that went on among these principals about the very idea of attacking the Houthis. And the fact that Vance had an objection and then simply folded on the objection for no good reason other than one of the other members of the little team thought that no, they should go ahead with the tax right away. This is not how you conduct the policies, the military policies of a great power. It just isn't. There was not a single general or admiral in the room, as far as I can tell.
Professor Parker, the Congress, because usually the legislative branch should provide some oversight. And in a situation like this, you'd expect them to launch an investigation to get to the bottom of it. Since the Trump administration has taken office, as far as I can tell from this distance, the Congress doesn't seem particularly interested in oversight. What do you make of that?
Well, the Democrats are incapable of oversight because they're a minority. They're being locked out of any shared bipartisan oversight. And the Republicans, I mean, I think we know, which is Trump has threatened basically to primary any member of either house who stands against him. So, one, there's an intimidation factor. Two, the Republican Party is one, I mean, as Will Rogers said 100 years ago, I don't belong to an organized political party. I'm a Democrat. The Republicans display a kind of discipline politically in tight moments that the Democrats have a lot of reason for envying if you think that discipline is the be-all and end-all of a Democratic political party's existence. The Democrats' dysfunction is of over-empathizing with those who have traditionally been denied relative shares of power or wealth, but without a theory or without a politics that welds security as well as well-being into the system as a whole. And, you know, we as a consequence are in a series of unfolding political crises that catch up with one another at regular intervals. The Democrats, after the Second World War, turned themselves into Cold War liberals that endorsed the expansion of the federal government, not because it was expanding Medicare and Social Security, but because it was expanding military spending. Now, Soviet communism can hardly be considered a threat as a communist threat. And so the question is, are we spending the right amount of money in the right configuration for the current threats that we are facing, or are there non-military means for addressing these challenges by creating networks of allies that are much better equipped to fight than they have been in the past? And also by finding ways to lock in opponents like the Chinese into an uncomfortable competitive game between two states, the United States and China, who see themselves as hegemons within a global capitalist system. You convince the Chinese that that's what they're playing, which is a game within a global capitalist system, and the logic of $1 trillion defense budget becomes very questionable. But we don't have that capacity to ask those larger questions. And Trump has discovered that there's an enormous amount of discontent, but the way he formulates his questions, they're always the wrong questions and produce the wrong answers.
How concerned are you that what we're seeing unfolding could permanently upend the structure, the mechanisms of accountability in the U.S. government?
I think I don't think anyone who looks at this doesn't think that we are at one of the highest risk, if not perhaps the highest risk moments in American political history. You know, right now there's a debate going on about students being arrested at Columbia University using an 18th century law, the Alien and Sedition Acts. But it's a reminder that the United States has been preoccupied with internal enemies since the very beginning of the Republic. And what we have got to figure out is a way to strengthen state and local government as one set of counterweights. And we need to figure out ways to actually make the Constitution, make the federal government more democratic by ridding ourselves of the two senators per state model of the Senate, and by ridding ourselves of the Electoral College, which is an artifact of an 18th century fear of white property owners, that people of color and white men of inadequate property would have a right to participate on an equal footing. That system has been hobbled from the very beginning. We need to change it because the evidence is that the majority of Americans allowed to vote as a straight-up majority are far more progressive, far less bellicose, far less divisive than the electoral majorities that are constructed via these artifact structures that were imposed on us 200 years ago by suspicious plantation owners and wealthy merchants.
Do you see any
Sorry
hope?
if I'm being a little too frank.
No. I appreciate it. Do you see any hope, though, or any signs that those reforms could come into force anytime soon?
I was born in 1946 on Election Day. I'm 78 years old. On Election Day, Richard Nixon was elected to the House, and Joseph McCarthy was elected to the Senate. And the Republicans took control of both houses of Congress for the first time in 20 years. I'm still here 78 years later, still willing to speak out against and work against those forces that have acted to limit and cripple American democracy, and in the process do great harm to democratic movements around the world, including Jamaica, which suffered greatly under CIA retribution over the potential expropriation of bauxite 40 years ago. So, there is work that we all could be doing. It's not just what's wrong with America. It's what is wrong with those of us who can see beyond the present toward a more radically just and democratic future, and how do we cross borders to work with one another?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor Richard Parker.
Thank you, Professor.
He's Senior Fellow at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. Thank you very much, sir.
Very welcome.
Appreciate it.
Very welcome.
Good. This is Nationwide at 5.
The Watchman. Exploring issues shaping our society, government, and business. Provocative, unconventional. Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. The Grace Kennedy phenomenon. In 2012, Jamaica marked its 50th year of independence. That same year, Grace Kennedy Company, GK, celebrated 90 years since its founding. The late GK director Jimmy Moss Solomon delivered the 2012 GK Foundation lecture. Speaking on the theme, Jamaica and Grace Kennedy, dreams converging, roads diverging, Mr. Moss Solomon did a comparative analysis between the development path taken by GK and the Jamaican nation-state. The finding was stunning. Taking a single measurement, employee productivity or economic growth, from 2001 to 2010, GK's revenue per employee grew by 38%. Over the same period, Jamaica's real gross domestic product per employed person declined by 9%. Over the 30-year period, 1981 to 2010, the malaise in the Jamaican economy continued, with real gross domestic product per employed person in the labor force growing by less than 0.5% for the entire period. All the time, GK, a Jamaican company operating from Jamaica, was growing by leaps and bounds. Founded on February 14, 1922, by Fred Kennedy and John Grace, with the modest capital of £25,000, GK, in its unaudited financial results for the 9 months period ended September 30, 2024, reported revenues of 126 billion Jamaican dollars and profit before tax of 10 billion Jamaican dollars. The company is the preferred employer for our best talent. Jamaica, by comparison, continues to grapple unsuccessfully with social problems that drive talent from our shores and an economy which arguably is the world's most underperforming relative to our God-given assets. The obvious question was, and remains, why the difference? The lecture offered a few reasons for underperformance of the Jamaican society and economy. These include the following. 1. Lack of vision, no sense of direction. 2. Decisions taken at critical crossroads were generally designed to maintain the comfortable but ineffective status quo. 3. Failure to invest in the human and social infrastructure. 4. Resistance to change. Ma Solomon did not say it, but I would add leadership. Jamaica suffers from an insufficiency of leadership in managing the affairs of the country, manifested by poor governance, stifling bureaucracy, crumbling infrastructure, corruption, and inadequate investments in the growth sectors. There's no gainsaying the fact that the political system, and by extension politicians, collectively and with rare exception, have failed Jamaica. The picture of Douglas Arain at the end of his tenure handing the leadership baton to Don Webby, and now Don Webby handing it to his successor, Frank James, tells one all that one needs to know about excellence and continuity in leadership. I doubt there is an existing or a potential investor who believes GK will miss a beat in its forward march. Think on these things.
Produced by Agency for Inner City Renewal, AIR, and recorded in the Jamming Studio Trenchtown, a breath of fresh air bringing change to the inner city.
Win with love. Use your JMMB Money Transfer Prepaid Visa Card from October 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025 for a chance to win your share of a $2.1 million grand prize, plus a $100,000 university cash grant and cash back from paying tolls and shopping with your card. Receive money 24/7 in minutes with Visa Direct via MoneyGram, Zoom, Remitly, or directly through RIA and Zoom. Visit jm.jmnb.com/money-transfer for full details on how to enter and win with love. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply.
(26:07). It's time to hear from you. We're going to take your calls. You know the numbers well. 630-937-124, 618-8255.
The National Land Agency assists landowners to register their land under the Systematic Land Registration Program. Systematic Land Registration is the orderly and methodical way of registering land within a designated project area. For more info on whether your community is covered under the Systematic Land Registration Program, visit nla.gov.jm for a list of all the declared project areas or call 876-750-5263. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal. To serve you better.
With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
Looking for a gym that's got it all? Welcome to Express Fitness, where fitness meets convenience. With 24/7 access, you can work out whenever it suits you. And with island-wide locations, we're always close by anywhere and anytime. Love classes? We've got them. From aerobics to dance to spin, you name it, we've got it. Our certified trainers are here to take you on a journey. Call us at 888-FITNESS or visit our website at expressfitnessja.com. Express Fitness, your goal or mission.
Big news!
The Big Bite Food Safety Show now airs on Nationwide 90 FM with your host, Alison Richards, the food safety girl. Join Alison every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. as she serves up expert advice, tips, and insights on everything food safety. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, food safety is everybody's business. Don't miss a bite of the action. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Join us on our next episode for Fish Tales, keeping seafood safe this Lent.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. If you're listening on radio, we encourage you to hop on over to the YouTube channel. It's Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, an active community. Yeah, I see them all there. The real Ilan, Chef Patricia, Feeney Barnaby, Marigold Weber. Good evening, Marigold. Andrea Dunkley, Annette Allen, Sunrise, Philip Jackson, Barbara Bailey, Marjorie G, Robert McKenzie. Go on over, join the virtual community. Share your thoughts there with us as well. We're taking your calls, 630-937-124, 618-8255. Papa Nana, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
Not bad at all. And your co-host is?
Clifton Hughes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Is that the Clifton Hughes that I know?
Same one.
Okay, very good, very good. Nice company, nice company. I must first bring up the Most High God, you know?
Yes, every time.
Thank Him for keeping all of us safe. Then I have to big up my good up self, Papa Nana. You know you don't make you laugh.
Good up self.
So what about...
I can't big up myself.
You can and you should. What about Mama Nana?
God, me know a good thing. You know, say you want good somebody.
Yes, man. Always there by your side.
I big up Mama Nana. And you know who I want to big up?
Who's that?
The Honorable Prime Minister.
I figured.
And big up his mother. And big up his wife. And I must tell him to believe me and not lying to you. I don't see how on earth anything could get better than him. Believe me. I had to pick him up. I tell you, it made me feel proud. I am telling you the honest truth.
This is after the budget debate.
One thing I didn't hear him say anything about the pensioners and thing, you know. So I'm still listening to hear if anything can be done.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair.
And the other thing that I would like to ask Mr. Hughes plus you, did you hear that statement from Editor Newman?
Yes, I did.
Which one?
He's complaining.
I didn't hear the program this morning, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Hughes, what do you think about when he said he's sending something to the transport minister and if nothing forthcoming, they will see the other side of the
several demonstrations across the island. He's saying with the introduction of the expansion of the services of the JUTC, they're beginning to suffer. Yes? And he said the rural bus system is putting them out of business. Sales or income down by 40-45%. And if the government doesn't do something about it, they're going to have a lot of demonstrations across the country.
So people are opting for the JUTC?
Yes.
So what I am saying, is that a threat?
It is a threat.
So what I want to find out something from you, is the minority you support the government to support our majority? I don't understand, Mr. Newman.
No, there are several questions we should ask Mr. Newman. Yes? The Jamaica Urban Transit Company is a state-owned bus company whose principal mandate is to provide safe, reliable, affordable,
comfortable,
yes, transport for Jamaicans.
Yes.
Exactly.
What we have been having is a bang belly system where the government was unable, through JUTC, to provide a modicum of decent, safe, reliable service.
And thereby leaving commuters
thousands of commuters
yes,
to the vagaries of the taxi operators.
Dangerous driving. Dangerous driving, stopping anywhere, piling up in the back of taxi. I, for one, support the JUTC providing the service.
Yes.
And Darrell Vaz has not been insensitive. To be fair to me, he has not been insensitive to how it may affect the
taxi operators,
right? Because
private operators.
Yeah, man, I've heard him say that he is seeking to have further conversations to find the middle ground. So he has not been insensitive to their plight.
And the thing that I don't understand, because I have known Mr. Vaz, Darrell Vaz, for the better part of 50 years, Mr. Hughes.
Mm.
And because I was living at Federal Road in his constituency, and I know him and know every brother, sister, the father, mother come down. And I don't understand, because I had sent him something concerning somebody who would help him immensely with the JUTC. And I don't understand him nowadays. When you talk to him, he does not reply. I don't understand.
That's
I know
Vaz?
somebody who know the JUTC inside, outside, who used to work there. And I sent them to him, and he has not replied back to the person, neither to me.
Boy, Papa Nana, remember he gets a lot of, because he has made his number public. So you have to remember how much feedback he's probably getting on a whole, because it's not just transport, Remember, he also has telecommunications, energy, etc.
I know so how me would have so bad on a raffle that my ticket can come up.
We have to run, leave you, Papa Nana. We have other people waiting. Thanks for the call as always, my friend. All right, let's take a quick break. Come back with more.
Apply for your Sagicor Bank Preferred Prepaid MasterCard today. Load your remittances for everyday spending. Receive cash transfers from any local bank. The time by Sagicor Bank is
7:35.
Attention procurement officers looking for office furniture? Call Econo Office and School Supplies. We also offer stationery, office equipment, printing supplies, school supplies, shredder servicing, and custom stamps. Visit us at 40.5B Red Hills Road, Kingston. Call 876-620-8820 or WhatsApp 876-208-2233. Visit our website at econo-oss.com. Econo Office and School Supplies Limited, your one-stop shop for all office and school needs. Let us simplify your life.
Residents of Manchester, the Jamaica Customs Agency will be in your parish on Friday, March 28, 2025 from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. for Customs Meets the Community, the Town and Community Tour edition. We'll kickstart this exciting tour in Christiana at 10 a.m., then navigate into the parish capital, Mandeville, for the grand finale at 2:30 p.m. Get information on all things customs, contactless clearance, the Customs mobile app, incentives for farmers and manufacturers, and so much more. That's Customs Meets the Community, the Town and Community Tour edition in Manchester this Friday, March 28 from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Jamaica Customs, reaching our customers where they are.
Looking for a gym that's got it all? Welcome to Express Fitness, where fitness meets convenience. With 24/7 access, you can work out whenever it suits you. And with island-wide locations, we're always close by anywhere and anytime. Love classes? We've got them. From aerobics to dance to spin, you name it, we've got it. Our certified trainers are here to take you on a journey. Call us at 888-FITNESS or visit our website at expressfitnessja.com. Express Fitness, your goal or mission.
For generations, Jamaican families have trusted Imperial Optical to keep their vision clear and their style sharp. From their first eye exam to the latest in fashion frames, we've been there for every milestone, every moment, and every memory. Whether it's your child's first day at school or your grandparents' golden years, our care spans every age, every stage. Visit Imperial Optical today. Generations of care, generations of trust.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jackama figure dig the wall. Upper Total Tools. Beat back a figure trim the lawn. We have everything you job them on. Total Tools. We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, or Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option.
Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slide Road, Kingston.
And lot C6 Jacksaw, St. Anne's Bay. Call us today.
22 minutes going up to 8 o'clock. Keisha, good evening.
Hi, sorry, good evening. Carla?
Hey, Keisha.
How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing good. Pretty good. So you?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Edison Newman, whatever his name, he can't go win a battle here because We tired of the Ramsey tail fish where him and him taxi driver, they must support to us, the public. So we welcome that rural area bus service. Whenever time it roll out, island-wide comes September morning. We can't win this. And I cannot understand why he tends to have the mentality of the PMP. Because whenever time things probably don't go his way, he threatens. And then the taxi man, them strike and do whatever. They like to disrupt production in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't mind get rid of some of them too. Because the service where them give to us, it is despicable.
Yeah.
If that is the best adjective to describe it.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a zero-sum game, because I think there's enough for them to survive and to thrive, in fact. When the JUTC gets better and better, yes, what they should be doing is to look at the kind of transportation services they are providing to give people the option of traveling in more comfort. Yeah, and I hope the government will give them the freedom, to move their fares in a way that they can make a profit.
Yes.
Because if the ordinary man, commuting member of the public, has enough seats in the public transport system, yes, to get around safely, then the need for price controls in the private sector is reduced.
Yes.
You pay for what you want. Yeah, so Mr. Newman will now have a nice cab with all the elements. He can invest more, and he can charge you what you are prepared to pay him.
Well, JUTC, but they will not flood out every community because you have thousands of communities. So there will be a slice to them, but they need to provide us with better, safer, and reliable transportation. Cost effective.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Hughes, I realized I had an interview earlier on. I didn't get to listen because of other engagement. Was there any water contamination in the corporate area?
No.
So it is safe to say that Mr. Tamnaro get it wrong.
Mr. Who?
Mr. Tamnaro. You never read the story about Mr. Tamnaro, the scandalous man. That is Mr. Hales. You never read the poem about Mr. Tamnaro. You can't tell me something who was Mr. Tamnaro in a very scandalous and mischievous man.
No, I don't know about that.
No, but was it Mr. Hale and his junior who put people in panic talking about water contamination?
Certainly Mr. James, yes, and Mr. Hales picked it up and tried to make political hay of it.
The NWC says it's a misunderstanding of the data.
So then, so you're telling me that they cannot read, so they don't know that?
Of course they can read.
All right, so is that not scandalous? Is that not mischievous, Ricardo? Well, if that is not scandalous and mischievous, and Mr. He has been doing this for quite some time. He did the same thing with the goodly gentleman in Westmoreland, I think it is.
Oh, that man with the water tank. Yes, I hope that man is doing well.
Scandalous person. Very scandalous and mischievous. That's Mr. Tamnaro. Read the poem about Mr. Tamnaro, who was a scandalous man who pushed his grandmother around in a barrel. Mr. Hughes.
Yes, Keisha.
Bye.
Bye, Keisha. Oh, Lord, another one.
Carl, good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo. Even Mr. Hughes.
Good evening, Carl.
I want me to start now.
Let me start for you. You win up in the Northwest London yesterday.
Yes, man.
Your candidate won.
Ricardo did ask me if I support Mr. Hughes.
I never want to tell me.
Ricardo don't understand politics.
Oh?
You can't go put out your head out in either, so you don't know who wins. You don't understand politics.
That is what I mean, I understand politics. Is that you're a coward. You're Freddy. I don't mean understand politics. You're Freddy.
You're big Fred.
Ricardo.
You're never sure how the breeze there blows, so you hedge your bet. You come here, hedge your bet.
Carl.
All of us know that UB was doing an excellent job.
But you're never sure.
No, well. But Ricardo, you don't know how things can run sometimes. You keep your numbers them close to your chest. Right. Even Saturday morning, Sunday morning, I tell a supervisor right on my gate, and he say the lawyer, man. The man tell him, sir, you be me a carry car. You be a win. Me say, all right.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
You never want to do like that, man. We don't want to what tell you about St. Mary?
Nephew.
Nephew. You never want to let nephew do?
No.
But before you leave there, now that you have Newbie, he's going to be up against Richard Azan. How it looking now?
Cliff, whether we did have Yubi or never have Yubi,
Newbie.
I see him one PMP did all have down here at Clarendon. CM1. Morgan find back his way back home with his people them. And you might but sometime in the next month you might have a big surprise coming with somebody. So leave that there.
The council of the Moko division is coming back to the JLP. You can't tell me not what we don't know already.
Ricardo.
The council of the Romain Morris
might be back.
Ricardo. They never give you no news.
It's all right.
You don't want news from you.
Keep it to yourself.
Anyhow, Mr. Hughes.
Yeah? Romain come back. Answer the question.
Ricardo.
And let me ask you a Cliff.
Mr. Hughes.
Answer the question. Romain come back.
Mr. Hughes.
Romain come back.
Mr. Hughes.
Romain come back.
Mr. Hughes.
Romain come back.
Yes, because you don't have news man at daytime till 5 o'clock on Saturday evening and Sunday evening now. He's a man who like to be updated with what happening in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I hear Mr. Newman from Friday morning. Friday morning was here and they played up to Sunday night. They have it. Certain station carry it because they try to embarrass the government. But Mr. Newman should remember that he live in a glass house. He's very careful. Not because a long time, Mr. Newman is very careful. Remember, he live in a glass house. Anyhow, that's all me say about that concerning Mr. Newman. Mr. Newman was on our next program Friday morning, and the host all call the Prime Minister or say whatever a Prime Minister speech was damn foolishness. I hope that word doesn't too strong on the radio program, but that's the word him used.
Who used that word? The host or
the host of
okay.
the program. Host of the program. What both Newman and the host doesn't understand about the break that who bought a new vehicle will get a tax break for 3 years of licensing your vehicle or doing your fitness. None of them, him can't work it out because that host, when the disaster did go on in the 90s, him say that was the best minister of finance since sliced bread.
Oh, I think I can surmise who the host is based on
his
comments.
So, him, when we hear him talk, we not pay that no mind. Me is a transport man. I have no problem in the government. You see, what Newman doesn't understand. Newman is a comrade. And he doesn't like to say production. And that is the problem that Newman is having. Mr. Hughes,
yes,
I system. And sometime a morning time, after me pick up 7 or 8, the whole bus stop them line with school picnic. And if the bus I go carry the school kids them, I doesn't see no problem with it. I just what me would I like after when this thing settle come September, the government give us the rest of the increase later on. But now me in our election, me can't deal with increase. Me have to deal with putting back the government back in office first before me talk about increase. And Newman I try to see if he can do everything. And Newman realize what all of them did a fight against the government with decoration. That dead and buried. I heard Tana last week, Tuesday morning, ask the British citizen he must adjust but then give up his citizenship yet. And all know he went to the parliament, he was there and he don't give it up yet.
But I thought I saw him on some online show claiming that he had renounced, and I think I saw the Gleaner with a blaring headline over the weekend saying that he did.
Well, tell me which part of the paper it into.
I think it was in the Saturday paper, yeah.
Oh, So him hide this in the Saturday paper or something when him a complain about.
I don't. Mr. Golding doesn't control the Gleaner's editorial policy.
But
I don't know about that.
But Gleaner never control who they put in the poll result in it neither.
Goodbye,
And he
Carl.
complain about that.
Goodbye, Carl. Ian, good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Sayus.
Good evening, Ian.
Yes, sir. The main thing I want to talk to you, is what Carl touched on just a while ago. The last point that he touched a while ago.
The renunciation?
Yeah, about Mr. Golding. He said he renounced his citizenship, but what if I was thinking about the other day, if it could happen? Well, that would be good. If every member of parliament could come and present them citizenship like that. Yeah, and everybody would see each member of parliament own. You think that would be good?
To declare that they are, in fact, only Jamaican citizens?
Yes. You think the Jamaican people would appreciate that?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose.
I think if he do it, he couldn't hide from the public, you'd have to come in.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I wouldn't have no difficulty with that. That's fine. I wouldn't have a difficulty with that.
Yes, I think the Prime Minister should set up a thing like that where they come and present their dual citizenship like that and see if they're really a Jamaican citizen alone or what. You understand? I would really appreciate it. And next thing I want to talk to you about what the budget did that day. It was very, very good.
Whose presentation?
You mean that the Prime Minister did?
Yeah.
On Thursday?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good presentation.
I agree.
I really like it.
Yeah.
Especially, you see, when you go to the tax office, the traffic in the tax office.
Mm-hmm.
You spend the whole day just to look out something. So I think that's appreciative. Yeah, because when you can license your vehicle for 2 years,
mm-hmm.
You don't have to go back for. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate that. The government is really thinking.
So you think it will help with the efficiency?
Yes, it will. I think it will cut down the crowd.
Yes,
a bit.
Right.
I think that's one of the main things why he did it.
All right, Ian. Appreciate the call. Anthony, good evening.
Hey, Ricardo, Cliff, how you guys doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
All right.
I'm good. So, quickly, Cliff, just to follow up on Carl and the last caller, and Tana had made the point. Are you hearing me?
Yes, man, I'm hearing you.
All right, Tana had made the point on Monday morning also, and in Mr. Golding's presentation, at one point, when he was speaking about the Constitution, he said, and me as a Jamaican citizen,
yes.
I think at that point he should have flashed that renunciation certificate and he would have silenced everybody. Now that he didn't do that, and then Saturday the Gleaner is claiming something or whatever, I mean, me, like all other people, is still in doubt. So until I see something tangible, I don't believe. I am still on the fence on that one.
Yeah,
but
I agree with you, because I thought when he did the performative reciting of the national song, is it? I thought that would be a prime.
Disaster, I know.
I mean, the reading aside, and I was really shocked that they had to read it. But that aside, I thought that was a prime opportunity because he was pledging his loyalty to Jamaica. I pledge my heart forever to serve with humble pride, the shining homeland ever,
right,
so long as earth abide. I thought that would have been a good shot of you holding up the certificate of renunciation, and that would be the ultimate pledge, yeah? So I thought it was a missed opportunity, and then I think he would have gotten the front page.
He had two missed opportunities in his presentation.
Yes.
Two. next thing, Cliff said something this morning, and Ricardo, I watched the entire, I watched Mr. Golding's entire presentation. And during Mr. Golding's presentation, and I'm going to give you some numbers now, at least 15 times the camera cut to the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister was fixed on what Mr. Golding was saying. Or sometimes when he said something, you could see the Prime Minister consulting with his ministers and all of those things. But the Prime Minister was focused. He was listening.
Yes.
I watched when the Prime Minister was presenting, and I lost count. The last time I count, 23 times the camera cut to Mr. Golding. And out of the 23 times, only 4 times Mr. Golding was not on his phone and with his head down.
But Anthony,
Wait, let me finish this point, because I am saying if I was somebody who was undecided, an undecided voter, and I'm watching these two leaders making their presentation in Parliament and whatever and stuff, and I'm going to decide based on the old farm, the body languages or whatever and all of those stuff. You know what I would walk away from when the Prime Minister was presenting on Mr. Golding?
What?
Somebody who is shame and is taking lick and only thing he's left to do maybe to duck under the desk. That was what I would come away with.
Two responses. First response, you're not the first person to say that to me, that they came away from it feeling Mr. Golding looked defeated. And, not like a leader in charge. One. But two, I think y'all are being a little unfair to him. The jabs that the Prime Minister, levied, them hot.
Yeah, that's why
them lick hot. And then Mr. Golding has the peculiar situation that his skin pigmentation sometimes betrays how he feels. He got a little bit red, pink, especially the parts dealing with Finsack. So me kind of give him some cut him some
slack.
Yeah, some slack. He did some hot lick.
And when he does look up, he just barely like look up under him eye and hold on him head back again. I mean, it doesn't inspire any confidence whatsoever.
Yes.
And
There's
I
one
was,
shot.
I was even looking at Mr. Paul with his reaction.
There was. Oh, by the way, just to be fair to Mr. Powell, he looked like he was ready for the fight. There was a point when he was having an exchange with the Prime Minister, and he seemed to be giving as good as he was getting. You know who looked completely distressed? Michael Phillips. Michael looked like him that said, Jano Andrew.
Take time
now, man.
Yes. So I mean, I couldn't let it go and stuff. But Cliff, when I called you after Mr. Golding's presentation the other day, I give him a lot of credit for his strength on the Constitution. But after I heard Dr. Nadine Spence come and discredit what Mr. Golding was saying about the content of the
Senate
constitutional bill.
And the composition of the Senate.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the composition of the Senate. I mean, boy, I'm almost heading into the minus for that.
Yes.
Credibility is right there, so I guess.
Because he engaged in a misleading statement to us.
By the way, the Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs has put out a video in a clip. I should share it. I don't know if you saw it.
I saw it.
Where she was exasperated, saying that she's tired of having to correct a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And she was quoting from the relevant sections of the bill being considered.
Yeah, what Ms. Spence said, Mr. Golding wrote to them twice and they answered. So, again, I don't know. I don't know in terms of preparation. And I mean, I hear Cliff say this so often, about the PNP has became lazy and stuff. And every time we have situation like this, it is showing up. It is showing up that even with so many here in opposition, they're not prepared.
The latest one I saw was yesterday in The Observer, where a team led by its spokesman on logistics, Anthony Hilton, technology spokesman and industry and technology, Andre Houghton, touring the BPO sector in Montego Bay last week and saying that that is the area they're going to be looking towards really generating a lot more jobs, 100,000 jobs. And then I said, but this is the same PNP that has discredited the BPO sector.
Via Peter Bunting.
Yes, saying that they're low-paying jobs, not really making a difference. Yeah, and that is a kind of policy incoherence that is dogging the PNP, that detracts from its attraction as a viable alternative.
You really get the sense that they're throwing everything at the wall and hoping something sticks.
Yes.
Yeah. Anthony, we're out of time, though. We're out of time, my brother. Sorry about that.
That's all going to leave it this evening, callers, listeners. We want to say thanks to all of our callers, to our producer, Sonia Stewart, our technical operator, Andrew Anderson, members of the news and production team led by our editor, Cara Powell. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your number.
Look out for your number, too. No, you have to look out for your number. Your number important.
Take care of yourselves.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jack on my figure, dig the wall. Up a total